Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Hey, how are you guys doing today? How are you guys doing today? Hey, this is Gregory Wiles coming live to you from Houston, Texas. Usually my morning walk, but this morning I'm just sitting here. But these last days I find the quality is better when I sit. Right when I'm walking around, it's too much distractions with stuff that's going around. So I can just sit and get this out, and then I'll get back to my exercise. Good morning, Mr. Smith. Good morning, Mr. Osmond Smith. How are you doing? Yes, guys. Over the last few days, we were dealing with scriptures. We're trying to look at scriptures because lots of time we just quote scriptures and we say we're going to pray for someone, we're praying for ourselves, but the scriptures that got certain qualifiers for, right? And it's for certain group of people and they got certain qualifiers, and lots of time we get frustrated and we say this stuff is not working because we're praying and we're using these scriptures and nothing is working for us, but it's working for somebody. We're getting frustrated, right? So that's what we were working on. A couple of days ago we did Proverbs 11:21, where it said, "Do hand join in hand, the wicked shall not go unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall be delivered." We quote that, but the seed of the righteous, they still got to turn back to God. If they step away from God, they got to turn back to God for that promise to be activated in their life. Once they turn back to Him, we went through all how the Israelites, we show some example there. If you miss anything, you could go back on YouTube. Everything is loaded up there on YouTube. Look for Gregory Wiles, Wiles, and you're going to find the channel and you can get all what we did. Right? So then the next one we look at is Deuteronomy 5:8-10 with the generational curses. That was actually a blessing in Proverbs there with the seed of the righteous. Now, there's a curse too. There's a curse here where you say you can bring the sins of the parents to the third or fourth generations for those who hate me. So that was good news for us that we could break generational curses once we go through the definition, what it means to love Him and hate Him. Simply to love God means to follow His commandments, right? And he said the people who hate Him, people who don't follow His commandments. So you might not think you're hating Him or that, but He's saying if you don't follow my commandments, you don't love me, you hate me, right? So we talk about that. Then think on Friday we look at the scriptures for set aside for different set of people, the promises for those people who love God. The people who love God, right? So that's what we do. So now what I want to take a look at today, because I used some examples Friday about those scriptures who said everyone or whoever. So now we're going to look at scriptures now that everyone qualifies for. Everyone. This is not a special group of people. This is laws and promises that He said everyone qualified for. Once you're a human being on this earth, you qualify for these scriptures here, right? So let's go through that list now. This is no big qualifier. The only qualifier for this is a human being. You got a body and you're on this earth and you qualify for these promises here, right? So let's start with Proverbs 28:13. Proverbs 28:13. It said, "Whoever conceals their sin does not prosper, but to the one who confesses and renounces them find mercy." Right? It said, whoever conceal their sins. So God is fair, right? When He said whoever, it's from the man in prison, the prostitute on the street, or is the pastor on the pulpit. He's saying it doesn't matter if you're a pastor. I'm not going to say, well, you're a pastor, you're preaching my word. No. He said, whoever conceal their sin does not prosper, but to the one who confesses and renounces them find mercy. I'm not going to explain these scriptures. I just put in the scriptures out there for the one that everybody qualify for. And maybe another day, if some of them, we could go back and expand them. But today, I'm just pretty much reading the scriptures, not going to explain them, right? Then let's look at the next one where everyone qualifies for. 1 John 3:4. 1 John 3:4. It said, everyone who sins is breaking the law, but for all sin is contrary to the law of God. So He said, everyone who sins is breaking the law. Again, it doesn't matter if you're a pastor, it doesn't matter what wrong you're doing. He said, if you sin, you're breaking God's law. He said, for all sin is contrary to the law of God, right? Everyone. Then Proverbs 13:11 said, dishonest money dwindles away, but whoever gather money little by little makes it grow. He said, if you get your money dishonestly, it can dwindle away. But he said, whoever gathers the money little by little makes it grow, right? Whoever, anyone. Romans 10:13, here where it said, for everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. For everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. So if a man is doing wrong and he decide, you know what, I'm doing all this stuff and I know it's wrong, I go in and call on my God. So you remember with like what I said, when you talk about the poor inheriting the kingdom, because the poor, sometimes got more faith. When we call on God a lot, right? When we in trouble, when we need him, we call on him. And don't he get us through those things? Don't he get us through? Right? Many times he get us through. Right? So he's saying if you call on the name, everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved, right? He said, you call on my name, you're going to be saved. You're going to be saved from whatever you're going through that. I mean, you're going to heaven there. But if you get in a situation, you say, man, you know what? You recognize God's authority, you recognize God's power, and you decide, you know what? I going on my knees and I going to pray to God. God, help me through this one here. Whatever it is, he may or may not help you, but he can help you, but it may not be the way you thinking he going to help you, right? Because his help could come a different way. But he said, if you call on my name, you'll be saved, right? We ain't stuck too long on that. Proverbs 10:9. Whoever walks in integrity walks securely, but whoever takes crooked paths will be found out. He said, whoever walks with integrity walks securely, but whoever takes crooked paths will be found out, right? Let's go. Proverbs 12:1. Proverbs 12:1 says, whoever loves discipline loves knowledge. Whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but whoever hates correction is stupid, is the NIV translation. So if you love, whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but whoever hates correction is stupid. Then Proverbs 21:21. Proverbs 21:21 says, whoever pursues righteousness and unfailing love will find life, generousness and honor. He said, whoever pursues righteousness and unfailing love will find life, righteousness and honor. He said, whoever, right? Whoever pursues righteousness. So somebody could be sinning all their life and they decide, you know what? When it says sinning, they're going to jail, they're stealing, they're lying, they're robbing, they're even murder and all of that. And then they decide, you know what? I can change my life. Like say a man find God in prison, right? Let's say find God in prison. After all the wrong he did, he was in there. He find God in prison through the prison ministry and decide to change his life, right? But what I want people to understand, and I want to make sure I explain this properly. He said, whoever pursues righteousness and unfailing love will find life, righteousness and honor. They're going to find out. But that does not mean they ain't got to face the consequences for their sins that they committed. Sometimes a man might find God and he never come out of prison, but he live in a righteous life in prison, right? He may live a righteous life in prison. He find God in prison, and guess what? He qualified for heaven. But that doesn't mean they're going to let him out for some of them. But the next man who did not get a life in prison or so, and he may come out, he got a felony in his record, he may come out, he find God in there, he come out, he live in a nice life, he might even be a pastor, but he still got to deal with those consequences of his sin, which whatever consequences come along with can affect him for having a felony in his record, he still has to deal with that. That's not going to wipe away, all right? So don't think when you think, okay, as soon as you just do this and call on God, everything will wash away. Now, with time, the stuff may fall off your record, right? I don't know what's the rule of them stuff. Whether it's 10 years, 20 years, 7 years, whatever stuff may fall off your record. Or if you're doing right and God decide to give you some grace, he might decide to get some judge, some governor or whatever it is, give you some amnesty or something and clear your record or whatever the case may be. He may do that. He may do that or he may not. But you still got to deal with the consequences of your actions. But he's saying if you pursue righteousness, hey, you're going to find life and righteousness and honor. You're going to still be honored. How much people right now went to jail and all of that, but, there are big things in society now. But that doesn't take that away, right? I just want to make sure I explain that and think for people that people still got to deal with the consequences of their action, but you can still get, in God's in God's protection. Proverbs 11:25 say, a generous person will prosper. Whoever refreshes others will be refreshed, right? A generous person will prosper. He said, whoever refreshes others will be refreshed. Whoever help others to get better. Refresh means you feel better, right? Whoever, he's saying whoever, right? He said, whoever, this is Ecclesiastes 5:10, Ecclesiastes 5:10. Whoever loves money never has enough. Whoever loves money never has enough. Whoever loves wealth is never satisfied with their income. This too is meaningless. He said, whoever loves money never has enough. Whoever loves wealth is never satisfied with their income. Again, this goes from the man on the preacher on the pulpit to the person on the street. Whoever, right? Whoever. It doesn't matter who you be. Whoever loves money never have enough. You see that, man. You know, if you going after money, you get $100, you get a job that pay you $100. Next thing you say, man, oh, you're excited, telling everybody. It's Dale Belgrave. Dale Belgrave. Good morning, Dale. How are you doing, cuz? So you get a job paying you $1,000. You're excited, man. I get a raise from 500 to 1,000. You're excited. Next thing you know, $1,000 not enough now. You start looking for the one to pay you $2,000. Now you get a job to pay you $2,000, excited for a little bit, then it's not enough. I need some more. And that's what they're saying. If you love the money and you love wealth, you can never be satisfied with the income. No matter if you start making $1 million, you can still need more. It's not enough. Once you get used to that. So that's what they're saying, right? Proverbs 29:25, it's saying, fear of men will prove to be a snare. Fear of men will prove to be a snare. But whoever trusts in the Lord is kept safe. Again, whoever again, right? Let's go. This is the last one. We can wrap this up here. So 2 Corinthians 9:6. 2 Corinthians 9:6 said, remember this. Whoever sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, and whoever sows generously will also reap generously. Whoever sows sparingly, anyone who sows sparingly will reap sparingly, and whoever sows generously will reap generously. So I want to say something on this here. And there's the reason why I'm trying to take my time to explain these things so people can understand laws and benefits and promises that everyone qualify for, and what's reserved and what's the qualifiers. So we clearly, when we praying and we understand what's going on, and people not coming and telling us that this God stuff ain't working. Sometimes you and I'll get frustrated and say, man, look at this man next door. I know the stuff that he's doing, but look, oh, he just won the lotto, man. This is not fear, God. I go into church. I live in a righteous life, and you not blessing me and you blessing this thief. It's better I go and thief too. It's better I go and live on the streets rather than going to church. God, this stuff is not working, man. God, this man, I know what he's doing, and look how you blessing him and you ain't blessing me, right? But I know that's why I want to explain. That's why I want to make sure people understand before you get frustrated and somebody encourage you to go and thief just like the man and go and rob, or just go and be dishonest like the man because he looked like he getting by. That man, even though he getting his wealth, however he get it the wrong way, he probably sowing generously so he can reap generously, right? He can reap, but that doesn't mean he's happy. That doesn't mean he's going to heaven. That doesn't mean he's a righteous man. You talk to him, you might see how he getting nightmares at night. He can't even sleep. How chaotic his life is. He probably got it looking over his back every time, like the men who involved in drugs and all that, and who they got the money, but they got to get these bodyguards around them. They can't even sleep because somebody always. You look at the life. Don't worry. Look at what they got. Maybe to get it, how to get it, and the sowing generously and the reaping generously, as the law says, right? He said, whoever. Remember, he didn't say this. There's not this nobody. The man who's stealing and the man who. This is just like the law of gravity, right? We all benefit from gravity. We all, whether we using gravity to do wickedness, whether we using it to steal, the man coming out the building, tie a little rope on the bag of money and letting it down, then he climbing down the rope, but he's benefiting from gravity. Everyone benefits from gravity, right? So some of these laws here, but I want to give you a catch-22 before you get worked up about the man who doing wrong and he look like he's prospering. Because he's stealing the money and then he's sowing and he's giving it to charities and he's doing like the Robin Hood stuff, right? That doesn't make it right. But look at God. You can't use God, man. When you think you're going to use God, oh God, But here how you can come back with other laws to combat that, to make sure you're not using him, right? And before we go on to the other law quickly, I want to tell you this. Don't get envious of somebody when you see they prosper in a particular area of their life. All of these things I read in here, and there's a lot more, I just pick out a few. You can practice them too. It said whoever, it's saying everyone. So do not get upset with the man, even if he's doing wrong with his money and he's sowing and he giving to charities and he participating in this law and getting the benefit from it. You have the same right to these laws just like him. You have the same right, just like you practice them. God, before the people who go into church and who are trying to do the right thing, he wants you to use these laws so he can bless you. He wants you to use it. But let me give you a catch-22 with the people who are doing wrong before you get so frustrated with them and want to do what they're doing because they look like they're prospering more than you who are doing the right thing. Here, God laws, got other laws that are gonna protect these things from people using God, right? So let's look at Proverbs 22 in relationship to this same one, whoever given the example use if somebody doing wrong, but they look like they're doing blessed, right? Let's look at Proverbs 13:22, where it said, a good person leaves an inheritance for their children's children. A good person leaves an inheritance for their children's children, or some translation will say for their grandchildren. But a sinner's wealth is stored up for the righteous. A sinner's wealth is stored up for the righteous. So the same man next door or whoever you see and he doing so good and he making his money and he's stealing and he doing drugs and he robbing people and all of that. Next thing you know, the authorities come in and seize everything he got. Next thing you know, the big $400,000 house or $1 million house go on an auction and you get it for $20,000. A sinner's wealth is stored up for the righteous. You don't worry with him, what he doing. God got other laws that are going to take all that he got and give it to you if you're righteous and you're doing the right thing. You'll be rewarded. That's what he said. A sinner's wealth will be stored up for the righteous. Then you'll come and tell everybody, oh, God bless you. And look at this deal you got. Man, I went to the auction and this $200,000 Ferrari convertible, I get it for $5,000 on this auction. A sinner's wealth can be stored up for the righteous. Take your time. Be patient. Do the right thing, man. He got other laws in here that's going to work for you too. Right, guys? So don't have to look at the person and look at nobody. You run your own race. Don't be envious. Don't be jealous of no one. Hold on to these promises here. You practice them too. And don't worry what anybody out of mind.